Hey everybody, sorry for all the glare. I've got my garden tank light on behind us and it just makes for terrible glare. Trying to get a little bit of this crayfish in the video. Just turned the lights on. Normally what I do is I come down here about half an hour before the tank lights come on and I turn that overhead hanging LED unit on for my garden tank, and that lights the room up and sort of gets everybody ready so they don't have that sudden panic of the lights coming on in the tank. Unfortunately, it means that every morning when I try to shoot one of these, look at what's going on right as I turn the lights on kind of videos, I really can't because of all this terrible glare on the tanks. You see the room more than you actually see what's in the tanks. So this morning we had a crayfish up on the plumbing up there, and now he's down on the bottom. He's making his way back to his little cave. This tank always freaks out when the lights come on anyway, even if the overhead light has already been on for quite a while. This is interesting. This crayfish was not out a moment ago, and now that the lights have come on, it has come out. And we can actually see the carapace of another crayfish back there. I don't know how well you can see it or not, but that little thing right there is a crayfish. So we've got nice weather again today. I'm hoping maybe by now the streams and everything have settled down and cleared up a little bit. We've had a lot of rain recently and the water has been really swollen, muddy, cloudy. Even though we haven't had rain in a couple days, we've just got so much runoff. The water's literally just draining out of the hills, and so the water's still been high, and I just haven't been able to get out and do anything as far as getting down to the stream and catching any more crayfish or even setting the trap out, really. So maybe today after work, if it's still nice out, we'll take a look at the stream, and if the water's cleared up a little bit, maybe we'll try taking the dip net down or something. I don't really want to throw the trap out again because mostly what I catch in that is minnows, and I don't need any more minnows in this tank. In fact, I really probably ought to start getting in there and removing some of them, maybe take a few of those larger creek chubs and get them out of the tank altogether because they are getting pretty big. A few people have pointed out that the tank's getting a little on the crowded side here, so we'll see. But I do want to put some more crayfish in there. They're really fascinating animals. They're fun to watch, and I know it's a little callous, but when you put a bunch of crayfish in there and you put them to where they're probably a little more densely stocked than they should be, you get to see a lot more activity. They interact with each other a lot more. Now, of course, I'm using polite language by saying that they interact with each other a lot more. They basically fight over territory a lot more when you put too many crayfish in there, and they wind up fighting and killing each other. And again, it's all pretty interesting and dramatic, but it is, deliberately overstocking the tank for the purposes of getting the crayfish to have territorial disputes and so on and so forth. I personally don't have any kind of moral issue with that or anything. I'm not really concerned about it. Crayfish aren't really anything more than bugs. Seriously, if you actually look at their nervous system, they're very similar to bugs. They're actually less sophisticated than cockroaches. So I'm not too terribly worried about the moral implications of that. But that is something to consider when you put enough crayfish in here so that it looks exciting and you get to see crayfish all the time. That's because it's overstocked and there's too many crayfish and they're basically fighting each other all the time over territory. So make what you want of that, but that's what the deal is, and we probably are going to go ahead and do that to some degree. I'm not going to load the thing up with 15 crayfish or something. I've done that in the past. But probably about 5 or 6 crayfish is the limit of what a tank this size could hold, with them all sort of getting along for the most part. I don't know how well that one's coming out. We'll try to zoom in. You can kind of see its claws sticking out a little bit. Not sure if that's a different one or if that's the same one we were just looking at back here. I think it's the one that was back here. He just sort of made his way across the back. So they are active. They're day active, they're night active, they're really active at night, but they are day active. You'll see them out and about, crawling around, foraging for food. They come out almost immediately at feeding time. They can taste the food in the water almost instantly. They come poking their little heads out of their burrows after the food goes in. So, again, you know, interesting animals, plenty of fun, but you don't see them as much as you do when they're actually slightly overstocked and they're packed in there a little too densely. Then you get to see a lot more activity, a lot more action. At any rate, I've just got the lights going. I've got the tanks up and running now, so I need to get the rest of my day started. And then, as I said, hopefully this afternoon we'll be able to get outside and do something, and we'll get some video of that if we're lucky. So we'll see. So there you go. There's a final look at that crayfish just kind of hanging out, doing his thing, sitting in front of his front door. Looks like he's picking his eyeball now. And now look like he's eating whatever he picked out of his eyeball, grooming himself. Again, fascinating little animals. You can really spend a lot of time just sitting here watching them be crayfish. They're just neat little animals. So there you go, everybody. I got to get my day started. Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed. That way you won't miss anything. And then don't forget, of course, this one is my 125-gallon native tank. So thanks again for watching. I'll see you real soon in the next one.